Hello and welcome to Angry Andy Reviews, and this is a review for what I will call the worst film of 2020, and that film is Jiu Jitsu.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy. Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews.
Angry Andy.
Angry Andy Reviews. Angry Andy Reviews.
Don't make me destroy you.
Right off the bat, this film is utter garbage from first minute to last. Just utter garbage. Stay away from it as much as you can. Don't even bother. Just stay away. And I can't believe I've said that straight away, but I just can't reiterate enough. Just stay away from this film. Featuring some pretty well-known action stars, not least Tony Jaa and Frank Grillo. It also stars Nicolas Cage, but it does absolutely nothing with them of any real quality or consequence beyond the action itself, and even the action is just terrible. The premise is simple enough. Every 6 years, an ancient order of Jiu Jitsu fighters join forces to battle a vicious race of alien invaders. After a celebrated war hero goes down in defeat, the fate of the planet and mankind itself hangs in the balance. Sure, okay. Essentially an epic B-movie, this film fundamentally rips off Predator. Unashamedly so, and not in a good way, right down to the infrared vision tech and the cloaking technology that the alien uses to hide in the trees. You cannot rip off Predator any more than this film does, and it does it in plain sight. I honestly, I don't understand how there's not been some kind of copyright claims against this film or something, because it's literally Predator in everything but the actual alien design. The awful thing about this film, beyond the terrible, lackluster and laughably inept dialogue, is that the action feels completely staged, poorly shot throughout, and is absolutely at odds with the film itself, which is a shock, considering the film is literally that bad. You would not assume that it could get any worse, yet it constantly does throughout its overlong running time. It's an hour and 40 minutes, this film, and I don't even know what it does with the running time. It's just a mess. It just goes on, an absolute mess. Probably like this review is going to be, because I'm literally just throwing it out there. The film centres absolutely everything around its action sequences, but they're so unimaginatively constructed via some wholly needless camera angles and tricks that you can't help but notice the cracks in the framing, in the setups, before they even begin fighting. It's ridiculous. A lot of it plays out like an old Mortal Kombat video game fight, or a current episode of Power Rangers Dino Wizard Lords, or whatever it is that Power Rangers do these days. Which, yeah, okay, it wouldn't be a bad thing if it worked to the film's advantage, but here it's just an odd stylistic design which contradicts other stylistic choices throughout. There's an entire first-person action sequence, only one, and it lasts for about 2 or 3 minutes. A first-person action sequence that is clearly designed with the film Hardcore Henry in mind, which I'd recommend. It's a good little film to watch, Hardcore Henry, but it doesn't use any of that strategic first-person action tech to its advantage or effectively, and it turns out horribly flat and laughably so. You can see hits coming towards the camera, which in Hardcore Henry you kind of almost feel them. Here you see them missing. And it's appalling. It's worthwhile watching the first person action sequence just to see how horribly and laughable it is. The editing cuts for some scene changes are shot with some comic book paneling for no real reason at all, except that the editor probably assumed it looked cool, and you know what? Maybe it would have if it served a purpose for the story or the tale. Much like a lot in this film, there's a lot they just throw in which would have worked if they tried to, figure it out, versus the story, versus the action, versus what the hell is going on, which I still don't know entirely what was going on. The editing in general is absolutely appalling. Characters jump from one scene to another without any rhyme or reason, and in the middle of one fight, one major epic fight sequence towards the end, the action cuts to an exterior shot, jumps back, and it's as though the first match has ended and round 2 begins, and we went to an ad break and came back. The alien and the lead fighter are once again stood facing each other on opposite sides of the room, looking completely refreshed, mind you, and it's almost like they're waiting for somebody to say fight. It's laughable. It's laughable. I thought I'd missed something. I went back to see if I'd missed something that made them reset. No, it's just a horrible editing choice. The only finishing move worthy of note, to coin a phrase from Mortal Kombat, is the execution of my mind whilst watching this dribbling mess of a final fight sequence. It's boring, and a lot of the fights in this film are boring, which is baffling considering you have Frank Grillo, who is awesome. All the major players are wasted in this film. You've got Frank Grillo, like I said, who is awesome, but he isn't given much to do. And you have Tony Jaa, who's this excellent martial arts expert. Again, he's given nothing to do. He's just there. He disappears for entire sections of the film for no real reason. Poor Tony Jaa, you know, his whole choreography here is without meaning or reverence to his abilities as a performer. And I don't know, maybe he was just in the area and they thought, oh, just come along and do a quick little few moves for us and we'll film it. Nicolas Cage serves as sort of the oracle, exposition deliverer in what is merely an extended cameo. His performance is as you would expect here, playing a sort of PTSD, post-traumatic stress riddled warrior, a veteran of other alien incursions before, maddening and extreme with standard cageisms, as I call it. He is often and oddly gifted more to do than any of the other major performers, which is baffling. But it is quite fun to see Cage triple flip through the air whilst grappling with a samurai sword, whilst wearing a bandana and a duster jacket. My honest guess is that the whole costume idea was his entire idea entirely, and I fully support it. It's great. It's actually quite fun. Oddly enough, his performance and his standout sequence is the most interesting and entertaining part of the entire film. His fight with the alien itself echoes samurai fights from, you know, the old martial arts movies, you know, from the 70s and the 60s. You know, it's actually a shame he's not in it that much more than he actually is. I didn't expect much from this film, and truth be told, I only watched it due to my fascination with post-Oscar win Nicolas Cage movies. But even this is a stretch too far down the garbage chute for me. Oh my lord, I can't believe I wasted an hour and 40 minutes watching this film. Don't waste your time, don't waste your energy, and for the love of God, above all, do not waste your precious money on this film. Just watch Predator again instead. Please just watch Predator again instead. I feel like I need to cleanse my palate and watch Predator myself, just to wash this god-awful taste of mediocrity that I have in my mouth. Bloody Nora, what an absolute garbage film. Oh, I've not even seen any of the other reviews. I really should. Even the dogs outside agree with me, stay away. Appalling, absolutely appalling. But there you have it. I've had a pretty good month of watching some pretty decent action movies in November 2020. I guess this is just the cherry on the cake. The awful realization of 2020. But yes, this is the worst film I have seen this year, and we're nearly at the end of the year, and I've not really watched that many films, to be fair. But I'm going to leave it there. This is a 1 out of 10 film for me. Absolutely 1 out of 10. And that one is purely for Nicolas Cage. You know, I could be even more generous and give it 2, but I'm not. I'm going to stick with 1 out of 10. Awful film. Thank you very much for watching. If you like this video, please do give it a like, leave a comment in the in the comment section down below. Have you seen it? Do you plan on seeing it? Have I changed your mind? Please let me know, and subscribe to the channel as well for more movie reviews like this. I need a coffee. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.